Good afternoon, Robert Scribbler with the OBX wave report for this Thursday, July the 27th, 2023. I'm filming from Jeanette's Pier and we are looking to the south and east, or you can see to the south and east behind me. Very beautiful blue-green Atlantic Ocean, although wave conditions right now are very small, in the range of 1 foot or less. Though I think I did find a viable break off to the north side of Jeanette's Pier, and likely some of the usual suspects such as Barnes Street and Abalone Street and Bonnet Street might have rideable breaks, and you might find a few good longboard breaks up and down the Nags Head beaches today. All right, so for this session of the OBX wave report, I'm going to talk about wave conditions, but we're also going to talk a bit about some of the extreme weather events that we've seen recently for the Atlantic Ocean and elsewhere, and some of the climate change related events that we are seeing as well. But before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the wave reports, the official wave reports for Nags Head, Rodanthe, and Buxton, and we're going to talk a little bit about the tropics. All these things affect our coastlines and our surfing and our waves. It's one of the reasons why I talk about it. But full disclosure, I'm not just a surfer, but also an activist for climate action and for coastal defense in the form of the mass deployment of clean energy, which really needs to step it up, as we have seen due to the extreme events of this summer. All right, so let's start out with Nags Head. We are at Nags Head right now. Wave conditions are around the range of less than 1 foot and slightly choppy. We've got an east-southeast swell at 0.8 feet. That is a 9-second swell. Winds out of the south-southwest at around 12 miles per hour. Air temperatures right now around 88 degrees, feels like 100 because of the high humidity, and ocean water temperatures 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Heading down south to Rodanthe, we've got waves in the range of 1 foot, semi-clean, with a primary swell out of the east-southeast, also at 1 foot as a 9-second swell. Winds out of the southwest at 16 miles per hour. You're going to find these southwest winds all up and down the Outer Banks today. Hopefully it's not interrupting my microphone here. Air temperatures in the range of 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Ocean water temperatures 83. Also very humid down there in Rodanthe, so it feels like temperatures are in the upper 90s. And last of all, at Buxton, waves in the range of 1 foot, semi-clean conditions, with a east-southeast swell of around 1.3 feet at 8 seconds. So slightly larger swell down there at Buxton. Winds out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour, so less blustery conditions, likely cleaner conditions down there. Air temperatures in the range of 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Ocean water temperatures all the way up to 84, so very warm ocean water conditions at Buxton, but not as crazy as some of the ocean water temperatures we've seen further to the south, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Now, as for the wave forecast, waves are expected to improve tomorrow and into Saturday and Sunday as waves increase to the 2, possibly to the 2 to 3 foot range. Wave conditions look very good here in Nags Head in the forecast on Friday and Saturday, if you like those relatively smaller, easier to ride waves, but waves with a little bit more force than what we're seeing now. All right, now let's look at the tropics. So right now, according to the National Hurricane Center, we do have one tropical disturbance that is heading westward off the coast of Africa that now has a 40% chance of becoming a tropical cyclone. According to the National Hurricane Center, we're going to have to keep an eye on this thing as it moves across the warmer than normal waters of the Atlantic Ocean. This system is probably also encountering a little bit more wind shear in the Atlantic environment due to the effects of El Nino, but nonetheless, those warmer than normal surface waters do provide fuel for storms, so we're going to have to keep an eye on all the hurricanes as they develop. Hurricanes for us surfers are wave makers, but they're also represent a potential risk for the coastline and coastal dwellers here. And hurricanes lately, the peak and potential intensity of hurricanes have been increased by climate change driven by fossil fuel burning, which is increasing the ocean surface water temperatures. All right, so let's talk a little bit about ocean heat and some of the impacts to our ocean. Yesterday we talked about a new study about the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, or AMOC, which is the larger ocean conveyor belt circulation. And I did want to add a clarification that has been provided by some of the scientists. We do want to be careful about our communication to ensure that it's accurate according to the science. And the clarification is that though the Gulf Stream is presently linked to the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, a collapse of AMOC would not completely result in the loss of the Gulf Stream current. This due to the fact that prevailing winds and the turn of the Earth and related gravitation would continue to provide a surface current at the ocean surface as a kind of weakened portion or weakened remnant of the Gulf Stream. So complete collapse of the Gulf Stream is not likely if AMOC collapses, but nonetheless, AMOC is likely to impact the Gulf Stream. And if AMOC does collapse, as risks were highlighted by a recent climate study, we would expect severe impacts to the ocean system, to including serious change in ocean heat balance, serious change to weather patterns, and a harming of the top to bottom ocean circulation, which would harm ocean health. And I've given a shout out to scientists to provide more clarification on details of impacts for AMOC collapse potential. I don't really personally know if the climate models have all drilled down to all the specific details of the potential of ocean circulation collapse in the Atlantic, but nonetheless it would be very serious and have far-ranging impacts, including weakening the Gulf Stream. So clarification to past statements, and we'll just be providing you with updates if there's any news on developments for ocean circulation. It does affect surfing and all coastal dwellers. Last of all, I'd like to talk a bit about ocean temps, and in particular, some very unhealthy ocean temperatures off of Florida. Right now, ocean water temperatures off of Florida are in the range of 99 to 101 degrees Fahrenheit. The recommended temperature for a jacuzzi is between 100 and 102 degrees. So the ocean water right now in Florida and off of South Florida is basically as hot as a jacuzzi. This is not healthy for a number of reasons. If you were in South Florida, it would not be healthy to go surfing in those extremely hot waters due to the potential harmful microbial balance, but also due to potential risk of heat injury. It's very hard for the body to cool itself off under physical exertion in such hot conditions, and with those ocean waters so hot, likely wet bulb temperatures near the ocean surface are also in the dangerous range at risk of heat injuries. So definitely an impact to surfers and beachgoers or anyone who wants to enjoy the ocean there in South Florida. Very nasty, unhealthy ocean environment. Also, I did want to talk about ocean temps off of Newfoundland on the other side of, we got southerly temperature reading off of Florida and a northerly temperature reading off of Newfoundland. Sea surface temperatures off of Newfoundland now in the range of about 60 degrees Fahrenheit in Newfoundland. Typically ocean water temperatures closer to the upper 40s this time of year. So ocean water temperatures about 11 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than normal off of Newfoundland, as we've got a very hot pool, relatively speaking, of water in the North Atlantic. And it does appear that the North Atlantic region south of Greenland is involved in this hard swing from a cool pool condition likely due to ocean water freshening and Greenland melt, and then a hot pool swing, likely due to the impacts of climate change driving extreme variance of the ocean surface in that region. Also possibly due to a bifurcation of AMOC itself, which was recently described as by climate researchers as like the wobbling of a top before the top falls down. So very extreme temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean. It does affect surfers and beachgoers and anyone who lives on the coastline. And as we see this scene of people enjoying the beaches, it's worth noting that if we keep burning fossil fuels and we don't transition to clean energy fast enough, and we keep allowing the predatory delay of the fossil fuel industry and harmful petrostates to keep us from acting on the issue of climate change, we're likely to see less and less scenes like what you see behind me, people enjoying beautiful beach environment. More and more, we will tend to see empty beaches or beaches with rather nasty conditions. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX Wave Report. We did talk a bit more about climate than we usually do, but I thought I'd take the opportunity of a Lake Atlantic to drill deeper into some of the climate impacts that we are seeing on our coastlines at present. And as always, I'd like to ask you guys to help do everything you can to help speed the transition to clean energy, which will help protect our coastlines from the impacts of climate change. And also, please do listen to your scientists and don't listen to those who drum up hate against the science. So thank you for joining me once again, and I will be back with you shortly.